Me hearties, and welcome to another episode of Shenaniganilandia here at Coaster Monkey Studios. And we've got a good one for you today because we are building a pirate wave pool. Yep, I said that right. A pirate wave pool and two giant slide structures that surround the wave pool. But first, we've got some housekeeping we need to do in our water park. So as you can see here, I forgot, and I can't believe I forgot, but I forgot to put lockers in our water park. I mean, who does that, right? So we decided to take our lockers that we've kind of been doing around the park. And again, these are the same lockers that I created in the very second episode I showed off. I don't remember what it was, but all the way back in the beginning is Shenaniganilandia. Is where we made these, right? So if you want to go check that out, you can go back to the beginning of the series and kind of get a walkthrough of the whole park. But as you can see here, we are building our locker area, and it's short, sweet, and simple. I didn't want to go too crazy on this. I wanted it to be just something easily accessible for our guests to go in, grab some lockers. But there's a really cool trick I did here to make it look like the guests are actually using the lockers. I don't know where this idea came from. Don't ask me. I have no clue. But if you take and I think I'm going to do it here. No, if you take a vending machine, and I thought I was going to do it there, but not yet. But you'll see in a second. If you take a vending machine and you stick it inside of the lockers and then cover over the top because my lockers weren't tall enough. But if you stick the vending machine inside the lockers, your guests will go to the lockers and use the lockers. Mind blown, right? So here we go. Ready? And there goes the vending machine inside. You may have to place them because my curbs were close by. You may have to place them and attach them to a scenery piece and then stick it inside the lockers. But I think it should be fine otherwise. I don't think it should be a problem. But your guests go in and they use the lockers now. I'm going to wind up doing this for all of my lockers around the park. I think this is a really fun addition. And way to just give it a little bit of touch of realism. The other thing I completely forgot to put into our park are the shoe collectors. Shoe and flip-flop and sandal collectors. Now, this is something in my water park that exists, right? We have these almost every single one of our water rides. And it basically, it's a place to put your flip-flops, your sandals, and shoes because you can't bring those on the rides, on the water rides. So it's as simple as a cubby. And you want to fill that cubby up with your sandal or your flip-flop. A lot of people tend to put their floaties and life jackets around it. Ooh, life jackets. We didn't do life jackets. I think somebody did life jackets. I'm going to look that up on the workshop. We're going to add life jackets around the water park. But anyway, I digress. So here we are. We're building this out. And this is also on the workshop. You can find this on the workshop. Same thing with the lockers that I built as well. You can find those on the workshop too. I think there's a really great set that were made already. I want to say, I don't know if it was mineral or not. I'm not sure. I don't want to misquote. But they exist. So here we are. We're making a pair of flip-flops. Very simple. Art shape with a knot from the curtains. And that's one of our types of flip-flop. And then, no, these are slides. They're not flip-flops. I was educated when I was building this on my live. Speaking of live, I go live almost every single day here on YouTube. I tried other platforms. I just can't free them out yet. I want to keep it simple. Let's build our YouTube community. And then as we grow, we can expand to other platforms for sure. But yes, here you are. We are creating our flip-flops. We've got our tubes kind of sitting around. And this is a great idea that I had as we were trying to do this, was to use the parentheses pieces from our font set, not even font set, the editable text, and it created actual flip-flops or thongs or whatever you want to call them, right? But these, I mean, it's just, it really elevates the realism and creates that energy that we want of it feeling like a real park. One thing I did do in between all of this, don't mind that wave pool. Act like the wave pool doesn't exist. Pay no attention to the wave pool on the screen. That is completely going to go away. It looks like a slice of bread. And we completely redo it because who wants to swim in a slice of bread? We actually go super into it. But anyway, one thing I did do, and you don't see it here in the video, but I did spam floaties around the water park just to give that, again, element of realism as people would have their floaties around the water park, right? So All right, here we are. We're building out our first set of water slides that we have. And I thought this is my first real deep dive into the water slide complexes, right? Like we did build the other water slide, Tiki Tower Splash. But for this one, I wanted it to feel like a raft water slide complex. Right? I wanted it to be very engulfed. I wanted it to be a lot, And if you look at some of these water slide complexes around the world, that's what they are. They're a lot. So that's what we did here. We tried some of these new elements, or some of these elements that are offered. Not new. The whole thing is new, right? But we tried some of these elements here that were given to us in the game for this slide, and I mean, the way that the boats kind of flow and sway is really cool. Mind you, as I'm building this, it's pre-update. Now let's talk update for a minute. As we're building this, we got an update. The update came and the update went. I don't know how many people have experienced this, but in my park, I had to readjust a lot of the heights of my rides as well as my scenery because the heights changed. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it happened, but there were height changes that happened that I had to readjust. Another thing I've noticed is that, yes, we've got a lot less people getting stuck in our pathways, but they're still getting stuck. So something to call out there for Frontier if you do happen to watch this. We did get bigger waves though, so the wave machines are more powerful now. So I had 3 wave machines stacked inside of our water. I did cut it down to 2 to get that larger wave. You still need to get 2 to get a more sizable wave. If you did only 1, it kind of just looks like ripples in the water, and I don't know how much I love that, so I went for the more white cap kind of wave. But that's another thing that was fixed. I did notice that the the AI in the game, the characters or the Sims or the people in the game, whatever they're called, they still don't go to the food as much. There are a lot more people coming to the water park. There's a lot more dispersion between the two parks, the water park and the theme park. But I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of waves. A lot of people not going to the food. So in sandbox mode, what I did was I amped up and I increased all of the food to 200%, the desire for food and drink. And now we're seeing people go to those facilities, which is exactly what we're looking for. So here we are, we're building out another body slide. Now this one I used a couple of the in-game elements. There was like this figure 8 slide moment, and there are these 2 off-axes loops. I guess it's an off-axis loop, or it's a non-inverting loop. I don't know what you want to call it, but we put those in, which I thought was a fun look because I wanted it to be a very complex, very overly tangled kind of looking water slide. And I think we nailed it. I think we hit it out of the park. One thing I did notice though, that with the update, all of these slides, they're perfectly level with the pool. And when I came back, now the slides all clip with the pool edge. Huh? So I'm going to have to go back in. I'm going to increase the slide tower slightly and then readjust the queue that we created underneath the slide complex in order to make sure that they don't clip, right? Because ow, my butt, if I was on a slide and boom, that's not a good look. So with that, the 3 center ones all had the pre-made elements, and then the outer 2 slides I created on my own. I don't know water rides. I hear that the max G-force on a water ride should be no more than 3 Gs. But I don't know if that's true or not. If you guys know, tell me in the comments below. What do you think? Like, am I supposed to be like... I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking to do. I can tell you though that most of these have like the orange color for like nausea and fear. So that's a thing. I don't know. It's a moment for sure. But we wanted to do the 2 outer ones and have them with the clear tubes. I love the clear tubes. I think they're super fun. I think one of the next complexes we'll build, maybe we do it in like Viking or mythological. When we do those, maybe we do like a blackout tunnel. Like what? I would love to do that. That could be super fun. Yeah, so as we're building this out, let's talk a little bit about the channel. I mean, it's the holidays right now. We've got a lot of stuff going on. I'm not going to be around as much for the next couple of weeks because obviously holidays. For me, my work week ends on the 20th, right? So as of the 21st, I'm on vacation from the 21st until the 2nd. So yay, holidays. But with that being said, I'm obviously spending it with family. So we are going to pull back a little bit on our video frequency. We may go down to one video per week. But we'll see what happens. You know, inspiration is hitting, and it's hitting hard right now. So I want to obviously ride that wave, but I obviously need to spend some time with family over the holidays. So we're going to go down to one video per week. But I think I'm okay with that for the next few weeks. And then when we get into January, we'll pick back up our frequency. So here we are, we're building out our wave pool. Now, this is a very common wave pool structure. I actually got this from online. I did a lot of research while we were on live on YouTube here. And this is like a great trick I learned from, I want to say it was 2G. As I was watching 2G's video, you lay down your pool. Or maybe it was Mineral. It might have been 2G. It could have been Mineral. I'm sorry. I don't remember who it was. My apologies. But you lay down your pool, right? You put down your levels. So what I do is I do a swimming level, and then I do a wading level. And then I go around the perimeter of the wading level side, and I lift that up so it becomes flush with the pool's edge. And then you create a nice gradient going into the pool. And the whole idea for this is that you've got your entire pool house just behind the pool, and that contains your filtration, that contains your wave machine stuff. And what we're gonna do is behind these three complexes is we're gonna build the admin area for the water park. And this will be where our staff offices for the water park will be. And I think it's the perfect location, just in the back corner. And then what we'll do is we'll create a ring road that wraps all the way around back over to the main entrance, right? So it'll be a quick and easy way for our staff to like pull through. So here we are, we're getting to the pirates, matey. So I'm sorry with the voice. Oh boy. Anyway, so what we did is we don't have pirates in the game. So how do we create pirates? And my thought process was, let's take some visuals that we have of pirates. I Googled some images, and it's really not complicated to create a galleon ship. But we really just don't have the pieces in the game to really do that. So we faked it, right? So if you squint really, really, really hard, it looks like a galleon ship. So we took our Viking ship and we took these planks. Now, I've used these planks all over this build in Shenaniganilandia. They're everywhere. They're all over the Tiki stuff. They're all over the Polynesian stuff. And now they're lending their services to us in the pirate area. And it just worked out so well to be able to create the trim work we needed to create the raw, rustic kind of feel of this galleon ship. I mean, it's a pirate ship. It's not going to look all pretty and perfect, right? It's Army Hearty Pirate, right? And that's kind of what we went after. And you can see, I love the texturing of these planks. It's a perfect driftwood. You know, it's got a little bit of a mossiness to it, which kind of elevates the feel of it being like, a seafaring vessel, right? Versus the actual ship underneath that we're using as our template, right? And could I have built this freehanded? Yes. Did I have to? No, because again, we're now going by the way of facades. So the idea is that this front decor that's sitting on the front of this building, it's literally just a full facade that's slapped onto a building, which is how it's done in real life. You know, I could name a couple of parks that kind of have this energy. Two, for example, are Sesame Place, California. Their wave pool has a facade that's built out on the front of their wave pool building, right? And then you look at Hurricane Harbor, New Jersey. It's a facade of rockwork, and like there's this Viking ship, and that's built on the front of the building that houses all of the mechanics for the wave pool. So that's exactly what we're creating here, to kind of build out this thematic moment. Right. It is, I think we hit the nail on the head. We hit the ball out of the park. I was going to say we hit the nail out of the park, and that's just a statement. I don't even know what that means. Oh boy. Anyway, so as I'm building this out, just fun story. If you listen to the music that's going on right now, I searched for pirate. I did my due diligence. I looked for pirate. Pirates does not exist in the YouTube library for their music. which was definitely a challenge. So I searched Caribbean, I searched beach, I searched waves. We got this. So I hope you guys are enjoying the background music. It's definitely a vibe for sure. I feel like it's giving resort energy, so run with it. So anyway, so with the Viking stuff, we've got these Viking masts that I thought were fantastic. We did off camera extend these ropes that came down to give the masting just a little bit more security, and kind of the way it looks. I didn't want to use the other ones because I could have used the Viking ones. Oh, not Viking, I'm sorry. These are not Viking. These are mythological. The Viking ones have the decorative pieces at the ends of like the dragon heads. It's like, right? I'm sorry. Anyway. So the decorative pieces on the end. So we didn't want to use that. We went with the mythological ones, which I think are fine. They do exactly what they need to do. I really, really, really wanted to use these lighted windows. I couldn't figure out a way to make them work for this application, unfortunately. But I mean, how great are they? I wanted to use them so badly. Anyway, so we went with more of these, like the curtain ones from, I believe it's the mythological pack. For these, and then as you can see, people are riding the water slides. So as we like built out the theming, more and more people came over to ride the water slides. So if you're having trouble with people riding your water slides, it might be because the scenery rating is so low. So add theming to your stuff and it'll draw the attention of your guests over. I didn't realize that was a thing, and it was a thing. So but the whole idea here is we're only building half of a ship. All right, it's facade energy, and we're going to do that for all of the buildings that we put along the front and the rockwork. It's just a facade that we're putting up. We're going to put in some elements just to give hints of facades, but that's it. That's all we're doing. We're not doing anything else other than that little bit that's facing our guests. And then we're going to build out the backside to look like a roof, because it's a roof, and that's what it would look like in real life, right? IRL, that's what we're working on. We're working on somewhat realism here with the pieces that we have in the game and the ideology that the game gives us to work with. So again, all of the rope pieces, the netting pieces, they're fantastic for this application. So here we are with the rock pieces. We went with the tiger rocks again. I feel like the tiger rocks really just give the energy that we're looking for this like tropical kind of Caribbean kind of vibe. We did want to cover over the entire edge of the pool, but we didn't want to cover over the mechanics that we've created underneath, right? So we've got our double layer of wave pool at the bottom, and we've got the cover that goes over that. And then we've got the rocks that sit just above it. And this is how it's done actually at Hurricane Harbor, New Jersey. This is kind of what it looks like IRL. So as we're building out the rock work here, I did realize that this was going to clip through into the building. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in an interior wall with doors. And we'll have we're going to create little labels for each of the door. One will say, water pump. One will say electric. Another one will say water pump, right? And then inside those water rooms, you are going to see the rocks that'll clip through. But I'm okay with that. I'm not upset about that, to be honest with you. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. It is what it is. The other thing we figured out is that the red barriers, the red barriers that look like bike racks, but they're red, those actually stop guests from crossing over. So we put them around our other pool. We've put them around all of the buildings, but for some reason for this pool, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't stop the guests from getting in and out of the pool. And I don't know what that has to do with. I don't know if the way the waves are going, maybe it's moving the guests in and out of the hit box. Or out of the barrier of the barriers, out of the radius of the, excuse me, so sorry, that was disgusting, out of the radius of the barriers, but I'm guessing that's what it is. I guess. So we're just gonna let them walk through and just squint. As a good friend, our good friend Nerd Chatra says, squint. And that's what we're going to do. So here we are. We're building out the, what is this called? This is the windmill. And it looks very Viking. Yes, it looks very Viking. I know it does. We're going to come back and we're going to clean that up. And we're going to make it look a little less Viking. But before we get to that, we are going to start putting the hints of realism in here for the quote-unquote framing, right? And it'll be a framework that holds up this side of the back of the boat, and then we're going to put in connectors into the roof, just ways to make it look like it's a facade, because I'm not building out a whole galleon ship. I'm sorry. And again, if you look at it from a distance, it looks great. When you get up all close, it's a hot mess. It's a Monet, right? Oh, it's a lot. Anyway, here we are just attaching some of those cables down to the roof, and then we've got our connectors holding the back of the boat on so it doesn't tip into the water and kill a bunch of our guests, because we don't want to unalive anyone. So here we are covering over the windmill with our very favorite plank pieces, and yes, we're going to cover the entire thing. Could I have made a windmill? Yeah. Did I find a way to do a windmill that didn't require me to make it? Yeah. And I'm not mad at myself for it. And we went for a little bit more of like a janky kind of look. So nothing is even. It's not perfect. It's a little wonky in places. That's by design, right? We want to make it look like it was put together by a bunch of random pirates who, I don't know, their ship got washed ashore. I don't know. Let's make up a story right now. The ship got washed ashore, and they needed to build a place for them to live. So that's where they live now. They live on this facade. I don't know. That's the story, and I'm sticking to it. So again, trying to use these glow lights, and I can't get them to fit right. I wish they had it in like a simple square or a small rectangle. I digress. Anyway, so here we are. We're building out our look for this windmill, and I'm really pleased with the way it came out. I don't know if I'm gonna cover over the roof. I'm really on the fence on what that roof is gonna look like. I'm leaving it for right now. Because it's a lot to cover it over. I did color it black, just so it kind of blends a little bit, but I don't know if we're going to cover it over. I don't know if I'm there yet. But I like the way the framing came out on this. I like the wonky windows. Again, there's supposed to be a level of whimsy to this as well. It's not supposed to look like super real and super crazy. I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to marry, as N7 Mike Sheets says, marrying the cuteness of Planko with realism. And I think that's what my goal is from this point forward. I think he really hit the nail on the head of kind of the aesthetic of what we're creating here. And I wanna continue with that vibe of realistic cuteness, as Mike called it. So one of the big things I think here is, as we're using, this is actually, I love that. Those are the planks, not the planks, the resort walls. And those make really good, like, rustic walls. And these jetties are what created our pirate village, right? So we minimize the size. I get excited. Look at me. I'm like, woo. So we're minimizing the size of it, right? We're shrinking everything down. Because this is supposed to be like a far away, right? We're doing the idea of making it smaller to make it look further away, and that's what we've done. And by shrinking them down, the galleon ship looks larger, right? And that's the whole intention of this entire build, because it's not supposed to be real. It's just a fake facade, right? So what we're doing is using these jetty pieces. We're creating a nice little pier on the water's edge. And then we're just going to plaster a bunch of windows and doors on these and tuck them in, because you don't want them sticking out too far, because it doesn't look the best, right? But again, these are just hints and ideas of this, right? Because when I think back to the theming that I've done in my past, or if I even look at the theming that we've done in my park right now, in my current park that I work at, these are ideas and they're hints of these things. They're not actual windows. They're not actual doors, right? They're just hints of them. And that's what we're creating. We're creating the hint of a pirate village, just with the right amount of detailing, I think, in my opinion, in my estimation, right? And again, that's a City Planner Plays statement right there. He's a great YouTuber, by the way. You need to go check him out. I love watching his stuff. He's my chill, wind down kind of vibe when I'm watching. If I need to watch YouTube and like wind down for the day right before I go to bed, I will watch City Planner Plays and watch him like build out a city, which is wild. He does amazing work. But his voice is just so relaxing. It's like the perfect chill mellow. I love it. I'm not that. I'm a little bit wired. I drink a lot of coffee and tea. Anyway, so here we are. We're building out just those accent pieces now just to sell the idea of this little pier village, pirate pier village. And we're shrinking everything down to quarter size, or as close to quarter size as we can get, because not everything shrinks down to the same size. That doesn't make sense, Frontier. We need an adjustment. So for the scaling, everything needs to shrink down to 25%. Let's just do that. If we can get everything down, that'd be great. By the way, that tree, that's a tree. That ginormous thing was a tree. It literally is the size of my wave pool. I don't know if that exists in real life, but oh my goodness. As we're laying out our foliage now, these would be rubber. They wouldn't be real plastic, but they would be all different variants of the tropical plants. We used Monstera. We used the white bird of paradise. We used the variations of palm trees that exist. So yeah, we did that, and then I needed a break from building that because my brain was fried, and we put in a water boundary in the pool because this again is something else that exists in real life, right? So we created the water boundary in the back end of the pool. They don't listen. They're getting called out by the lifeguards all day long. They're crossing that water boundary. They're getting stuck in them heavy, crazy waves, which is not a cute look for them, but I digress. So this is what I think really sold the rest of this, like getting the rope pieces up, getting the netting up, getting the fabric up. We really created, I think, just the level of dimension I was looking for, because I was worried that this just didn't feel right. And I think we hit the nail on the head with this by making it feel good, right? It's not over the top. It's not overly themed. And then these vent covers, I have now used, not the vent cover, the ducts. I've now used them in 4 separate kinds of applications. I've made them sinks. I've made them hand dryers. I've made them file holders for clipboards. And now they are the receptacle for our waterfall. I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. I love the way the waterfall came out. It just really adds that final element and gives the cohesion and balance across our entire facade. And that's really what you want to do, is when you're building these out, it doesn't have to be symmetrical, but you need balance. You need something to draw your eye to both the left and the right, and not just the center. So as we're building out the final portions of our facade here, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. We're going to leave you with some glamour shots. And if you haven't yet, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, comment. And until the next one, guys, thank you so much. Keep on building. Have an amazing week. Talk to you soon.